Welcome to the E Show, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.
We checked his pulse. He's alive and well. If you're looking to feel like warm and fuzzy inside, like I'm your guy.
And I'm sure you threw me right under the bus.
Yeah.
You're my dog. Woof.
Yeah, goaltending is the toughest position, I think, in all sports.
I think it's announcing.
Neil's dad's a dentist.
You're still pretty nimble at 43. It's not bad.
If I get called 46 years old one more time, I may leave.
What a great lesson in the alphabet.
Dude, you had like butter in your gloves.
That was a bad sneeze.
Often been imitated, never really duplicated.
We're having a good time.
We're having a good time.
And now, here's your host, the commissioner of the Eastern Hockey League, Neil Ravin.
Welcome back to the E Show, Jake. It's been a minute, 2 weeks, but it feels like a lot longer than that.
Yeah, I mean, I missed it for sure last week, and I'm sure there were some people that missed it. We've gotten a lot of good feedback on the podcast this year. Got parents coming up to me and like saying how they're saying we're very funny, which is huge. That's a huge confidence booster for the both of us.
Yeah.
So I'm sure people had some lonelier commutes. I know that the players probably missed it. They like all the material we've been giving them lately.
Yeah, I agree. At this time last week, though, we were busy. You more busy than me because you were.
That's how it usually goes.
Calling those games. You were calling those games. I was just physically present.
Yes. Mentally not though.
Less so 8 days ago. I snuck into the lobby when the Avalanche were up 2-0 in the first period against the Bears, and it was me and 20 Express players watching the Patriots and Texans. And
watching the Patriots.
We were having a good time
defeat the Texans.
Yes. It was early at that time. It's crazy how much like can change in a week though, Jake. Like a week later, there's a foot of snow that rips to the northeast.
Yeah, what did you get, like inch-wise?
I believe we're at 18.
We got 19 here.
Yeah, I mean, when you go in my front yard and it's at your knee, which also includes some snow from previous, I'm like, this is a lot.
It was, yeah. We dug ourselves out. We're all good here. But I went to the gym. The gym was closed.
Yeah.
If I can dig myself out, the Planet Fitness employees that sit behind the desk the whole time they work there, not refilling the paper towels, they could do it too.
Listen, when you text me that, I didn't know like what type of Monday mood you were in, so I didn't want to like chirp you. But like, the gym wasn't going to be open today, Jake.
It reopens at 4, and I'm going at 4.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But like, how much snow we got and how fast it came in the last like 24 hours overnight was pretty significant.
People are soft. It's not me. I'm not the problem here.
I know your dog's not as big as my dog. My Golden's 90 pounds, but watching him like swim through the snow in the yard is kind of entertaining.
Bailey would turn into a fossil. She would become like those old like woolly mammoths that are just frozen in a block of ice. If we were to send her out in this weather, that I would lose my dog within 35 seconds.
She's also like white in color a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So it would be hard to track her. Too funny. Obviously, it's been 2 weeks, as I mentioned. Feels like a lot longer since the last podcast, but there is a lot to get to and a lot to talk about. We'll start doing it now and around the E Show.
Let's take a look at what's going on around the E Show.
So, for those that are, keeping track of the dates at home, the last podcast was the 12th. So, there's been a lot of games since then. A number of cancellations, too. I should say postponement. That was a big texting conversation with some coaches over the weekend. That word choice is huge to people.
Absolutely.
Never say canceled if it's going to be rescheduled. Say postponed.
Absolutely.
What's on your mug? What is on your mug? Whose face is that?
This is this thing?
Yes.
Found it at a thrift store. I thought it was pretty funny.
So you don't even know who that is?
No, it's just some guy's face.
That's a total
I
stranger.
have no idea who this person is, but I saw it at a thrift store. I saw it. I had to have it. It's made in
Like
China.
first glance, I thought it was Mikey.
No, this is not Mikey. I don't know.
No, it's not Mikey.
It's just a mystery man.
Yeah, listen, I haven't seen Mikey in a while. I know he's not home with you right now, but we have a little bit of beef from his last.
He's
text
home
to me. He is?
Yeah.
Oh, there's no
school today.
Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, if Planet Fitness can't open, neither can school.
Yeah. And his area got 36 inches, 3 feet. That's like your height.
Oh my God. I could have chirped you about how the gym was closed. I held back, and then you call me 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
How old were you? Yeah, I'm putting this on a tee for you. How old were you for the Nemo snowstorm?
I have no idea what that is. Nemo?
You don't like there was a storm. There was a storm called Nemo.
I don't know. Was he found? Nemo snowstorm.
Oh my God.
Oh, I mean it was 2013, so I was 13.
Okay, so you were not old enough to understand what was happening.
Dude,
it was a huge snowstorm.
At 13, I was able to. I could probably sniff out the fact that there was snow out there.
You like Nemo was the name. That's one of those names that you remember from like specific storms.
I don't know. I don't know if it hit the island.
Well, at Quinnipiac, we got 39 inches of snow.
Jeez, okay. Probably hit Long Island.
It was the craziest experience of my life because, like, this is no shot at Connecticut, but they didn't have enough plows to keep up with the snow. So they, like, were using, like, construction vehicles to, like, move the snow. So, like, they would, like, get lifts and, like, basically lift it into a dump truck and then, like, drive it off to wherever they could dump it. I remember we were literally snowed in at my college house for, like, a week. And we had to, like, walk to get stuff. Like, to the nearest convenience store. Just walk a mile. It felt like, again, I'm going to date myself here. The Day After Tomorrow. Have you seen that movie? Oh my God.
I watched Donnie Darko yesterday. That was pretty good with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay, I don't even know what that is, so I guess we're okay.
1-1.
But I don't know. You're tripping me for being 3 feet tall. It's really something else. But anyways, a lot to get to. A lot has taken place in the EHL, and I want to start in the Northeast because what is it about the Wizards who seem to have the Avalanche number?
Yeah, right. I think I know what it is, dude. They do it by committee. They're just like the New Hampshire Avalanche, right? Like, I think some of the other teams that are, in that high level of the Northeast Conference are pretty top heavy. They don't balance it out all that much, whereas the Wizards do. They don't necessarily have the high end numbers and the high end skill that the Avalanche do, but to me, it's the same mold. And you're just applying it to a team that works just as hard. And they got great goaltending in those 2 games. Hazlett was fantastic. Their captain led by example. I mean, Michelli, overtime winner. Elgood, game winner in the first game. Like, that's what you need out of your top gunners in those games. And they just play to that blueprint. They have great coaching staff, and they have it's just a great situation they have over there. And talking to some of the Avalanche players, Ethan Audie was injured for the game. He feels that the Wizards might be their biggest threat.
Yeah. And the second win of the home and home was their first win in Hookstead, right? Their previous 2 wins over the Avalanche were both at home. Did you watch that overtime?
I did, yeah.
I mean, it felt like the Avs were going to win the game for a long time, and there were some ridiculous saves.
You got to think 3-on-3 will always favor the Avalanche, unless maybe Ville Bowden's on the ice. But like most teams, like it's the Avalanche.
But then a pass towards the slot just hits a skate and sends a guy Michelli on a breakaway.
Yeah, unfortunately
right?
for
And
Nick
like,
Husar, it's one of the best players in the league.
yes, but I found it interesting that wasn't very Avs in overtime. The Avs love to pull the goalie, right? We covered that here. He didn't even think about it that game, which tells me a little bit that the Wizards are in your head.
Or it's that, or the fact that their most recent overtime loss was because of that.
True.
And it's the same kind of
Maybe
thing, right?
Two games that way.
That pass doesn't go through to an empty net. It's even easier for Michelli. But like it's so I think maybe Cirello was like, all right, we might as well have a goalie in our net this time if one of our guys loses the puck. But we did have an empty net overtime winner this past week though. Sam Steinman, Express Hockey Club defeating the Seahawks Hockey Club into an empty net. Yeah, empty net in overtime.
I missed that. I totally missed that.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're so dialed in on the Patriots. Wrong 3-letter league, big guy.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, it doesn't surprise me though, because I have noticed that the Seahawks are probably the team that's done that the second most frequently.
Yeah.
Over the years.
I don't like it. I think it's fun. If I was ever a coach, which should not happen, that should never happen ever. I would get thrown out immediately. But I would never pull my goalie in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like I'd be so curious to hear it from a player's perspective, right? Do you feel like you're playing down a goal late in the third period and you have to like...
Yeah, well, that's why I only like it in situations where like we've seen in the NHL where like a team is like, a point out of a playoff spot or something, and they just need the win. They can't afford to not like. Then you do it. Then you throw the kitchen sink at the other team. Like you have no choice. But like a regular season game in January doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I just the Northeast, and we've covered this a few times. And as we get closer towards March and then April, and we're gonna put our necks out there with some regional finals picks. Like the Wizards swept the Avs home and home series after getting beat by Valley, who lost to Bridgewater, blowing a 2-0 lead. Like, I can't quite wrap my head around. Like, I know what the standings say right now, and like who would be where, right? Like the Avalanche would be the 1 seed today. The Seahawks would be the 2 seed, but obviously the Express have some games in hand. From there, Express 3, Wizards 4, Bandits 5. Or no, Valley 5, Bandits 6. I mean, Drevich himself, I felt kind of cool, Jake. Usually, like, you're the one getting this inside information.
Okay.
But I got it.
Okay.
And I get to bring it. I get to bring it to the table for once. Like, obviously, their recent addition of Jordan Dumont has, I think, been a pleasant surprise for them. Not that like they weren't expecting him to be talented, but like you lost Nicholas Gould, to go to college, and that was a huge void to
100%.
fill. And Dumont's done that, and then some.
Dumont's fantastic. He was fantastic
feels like,
in the EHL Premier when he was playing in the P show. He was an EHL level goalie, and like it's so good to see him back.
Yeah, and like Drevich feels like he's 2-4 so far, but the save totals, like, you ready for this? 32, 39, 50, 55, 34, 47. Coach Drevich feels like because of him, they could pull a first round upset.
Yeah, I mean it's the great equalizer. It literally is the biggest difference. Not to bring up the most fun team to watch in the NHL, but the New York Islanders have the best goaltending in the NHL by a country mile. Like statistically, like goals saved above expected, the Islanders should be a bad hockey team. So, like, the fact that they're in a playoff spot and might become the end of the season is a testament to goaltending. Like, it is the thing that could, like, the Bandits don't have the skill that some other teams in that division have, but they now can level the playing field in net with Dumont.
Do you watch every Islanders game, or does Mikey watch every Islanders game?
Well, I mean, we're, like, old, so, like, we don't watch every single game anymore, but I watch, like, probably... I would say 82 games in a year. In full, I probably watched like 30 to 35.
Okay. You know that I have like my score app set up where I get an alert for every single goal that gets scored in the NHL. Like it's mostly because of fantasy, defending champion, by the way. Trophies over here. So I like to see like when my players pop up with a goal. But I also get a laugh because every now and then, and the Islanders are playing pretty well. I'm not saying they're not third place in the Met, right? But every now and then they get blown out
Yes.
in a game, like by Buffalo on Saturday. Yeah. And all I could picture is Mikey watching and getting irrationally angry.
He gets so mad. He goes on Twitter and he tweets at his 11 followers. Nobody cares. I trip him every time for that. He'll tweet about, oh, it's snowing again. I'll tweet about the refs or like an icing call. It's like, who are you tweeting at? It's like the old man yells at cloud meme. It's like nobody cares about what you say, IRL or on Twitter. Like, let's calm it down.
The tweeting about the refs though gets me every time. It gets me every time because he'll say something about a review. And it's not even supposed to be funny, but it makes me laugh. So, but that's your Northeast update as of right now. Obviously, I think the biggest thing to watch remains to be the games in hand that the Express have on everybody else, right? They have 4 games on the Seahawks, the Avs, the Wizards, 5 games on the Bandits, only 2 on Valley, but like this jockeying for playoff positioning will be huge.
Yeah, and the Seahawks have looked a little bit better in terms of like, I mean, the real crucial thing for the Seahawks is losing 4 of their last 4 meetings with the Express, and they've all been super tight games. But win percentage wise, they've gone a little bit closer to the Express. It still does. Oh, what's up, dude? It still does look like it's the Express's division, and big reason is that because they have the best goaltender in the league right now.
Yeah. If you can tell, Jake, Jason Brady wore their hockey pajamas.
Nice. Very good.
We like hockey pajama night.
I wore my Game of Thrones pajamas. He should start watching that. You got to get him early on it.
Yeah, he turns 3 next week, so I'm not sure if that's quite
Listen, all I'm going to say is
his level.
Daenerys tarps off in the first episode. Might as well get him going early on that.
But we'll switch to the Central now. And funny enough, going into that January 12th episode, you had predicted that the Rhode Island winning streak would still be going at that point. You had thought that the 15th was going to be their loss to Nor'easter. Actually, a game that Nor'easter probably wished they had won with that lead down the stretch. But because I've said this all year long, I think I have to now confirm a statement. As of today, January 26th, I believe the Nor'easter have established themselves as the second best team in the.
Couldn't agree more. And I think if Applecourt gets good goaltending, they could be the number 3. I don't want to dig at Providence here, but I don't like the way they're trending right now.
Yeah, I mean, and it's tough because from a travel perspective, what you just mentioned would be so ideal. If Rhode Island was 1, Providence was 4, and then Nor'easter and Applecourt were the 2-3 matchup.
Yeah.
But I just say that because whoever gets Applecourt, if it's not Nor'easter and it's one of the Rhode Island teams at some point, we've seen in history, Jake, with how short these series are, being able to host game 1 or if you travel game 1, like it's not a far trip. But it's kind of like a tedious trip in the sense of like when you finish that game, they're still home and you have to get back. And these series have such big momentum swings that I say Nor'easter's the second best team. They're playing that way right now, but the Applecourt were the one that snapped Rhode Island's winning streak, and Applecourt keep pushing some of these other teams. Look at the matchup with PHC, right? And look at the matchup with Little Flyers.
Look at what they did against the Seahawks and the Express at showcases.
I know. So
they have as good a 2-1-2 punch as any team in the league with Galante and Winter up front, right? Like that is their, Bowden and Brissett. That is their DeGeorge and Quinn. Like it's as good as any in the league.
Yeah.
If they get those guys going,
Yeah.
and they get good goaltending too, they could eke out whatever they need against any team.
Yeah, I agree. You see how he's pointing to the Patriots stuff on my chest?
Yeah, he loves Drake May.
I wish he's shy most of the time, but he's in a very big like repeating mode right now, Jake. But like we went through the names last night, like Drake May, he was yelling Drake May back at me. I got him good. He even said like Travion Henderson. He was big into that.
No,
one.
he didn't.
So,
he did no way he said it.
Yes, he did. He said Travion Henderson.
Do it again, little man.
Travion Henderson last night. He won't see. He's being shy.
It's because
right
he
now.
sees
He
me and he hates me.
He doesn't hate you. I think it's your Harry Potter Nike swoosh, but maybe
It's
not.
you know what it's
It's
he's
getting
hated
better.
me long before that, but it's sibling rivalry. He doesn't like when I take your attention away from him.
Yeah, you agree with that. Obviously, though, with the Central, I think what at least the positive for Rhode Island here is, we've touched on this numerous times in the past in this podcast. The value of dropping a game and dealing with that adversity before the postseason hits. Of course, they wanted that winning streak to go on forever, but they have a loss now against the Apple Corps. I think you could say that they've been battle tested a little bit with some of their Nor'easter matchups, which I think is good for them, right? Because they steamrolled that first half so convincingly. A little pushback wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, and I still think the most impressive thing they
Right now.
did was the 3-0 showcase. They have a couple of matches against the Express coming up, and wouldn't be surprised if they split that, right? I think they have 2 games, one at Caddy, one at Thayer. So I wouldn't be surprised if they split those. I think that would also be good for them. I would also not be surprised if the Express go 2-0, right? It's hard to go out of the division, but I think HCRI does get one. They played 3 one-goal games against the Express last year, and I think HCRI is a better team this year than they were last year. So, yeah, I think it's good. And then you look to their showcase at the end of the year. Obviously, that's a pretty big gauntlet as well. They play the Seahawks, correct?
The Seahawks, the Wizards, and
They've never beaten the Seahawks in their history. So,
I did not
yeah,
know that.
I would love. I mean, far be it from me to say anything negative about the Seahawks, but I would love to see them exercise that demon before the season ends. It's more the P-Hawks than the Seahawks, than the E-Hawks that I refuse to critique.
All of this stuff ties together. The Patriots, who we've been fortunate as fans, Chase included, but only for a couple of years for him. Like, they've given us so much in New England that you forget that they had gone to Denver 4 times in the playoffs and they were 0-4. Like, what Drake May just did yesterday, Tom Brady never did. And Brady has a statue next to the stadium.
Yeah, well,
right?
I think Brady was playing Peyton Manning and Drake May was playing Jarrett Stidham. Just a little asterisk there.
But only for one of those games for Brady,
Right.
right? The other times he went out there were other Denver quarterbacks. But it all ties together because it just goes to that cliche saying with sports that it's why you play the game, right? It doesn't matter if you've beat somebody 7 times throughout that season. We've gone to the postseason and we've seen teams that have been in first place throughout the year get swept, right? And I know there's people probably saying, there he goes again, talking about the Bears, but it's not about the Bears. They just happen to be an example, and that's our transition to the South. And we mentioned earlier in this podcast how things change from week to week. This felt like PHC's division.
I know.
To kind of take it and run. And the 87s, I mean, that sweep of those 2 games, I think is massive for them, obviously, in terms of finishing as the 1 seed. But again, that season series, the home team has won every game so far.
Well, what did Bart say to us on Media Day in his building? He said if we were the home team for 2 of the 3 games, we would have won that series last year. Maybe it's going to be the case this year, who's ever home. But I listen, you got to like the way the Bears are going, right? we have to touch on that game against the Avs eventually, because that was probably the gutsiest win I've seen in the EHL, maybe in all 3.5 seasons that I've done. But like that was two big statement wins from New Jersey. Obviously, doing the second one without one of their best players, their best player really, getting some depth scoring. Obviously, getting the overtime winner from who else but Troy Mulholland. Like that was huge for them. I think both goalies got a win, if I'm not mistaken. And for Philly Hockey Club, it's like you were the team that was steamrolling in the right direction, and now like they kind of put the brakes on that. So once again, it becomes anyone's division. But I mean, it's Philly Hockey Club with the games in hand. It looks good, but they're both in the 700s in terms of win percentage, and it's just about winning those matchups now.
For sure, it's just so compelling to watch and see, because you talk to the Little Flyers, and they'll face anybody but PHC. They say, because you look at what's happened. PHC, for lack of another term, has dominated them. I mean, they've won convincingly, and it hasn't been close against them. But meanwhile, PLF has wins over the Bears this year, and they've battled the 87s hard. So it's like, this is that time of the year where I think you're obviously focused on getting all the points you can individually, control your own destiny per se. But we're going to see a lot of scoreboard watching this year, especially in that South, where guys are hoping to play certain teams, are hoping to avoid others. We mentioned Rhode Island. I mean, them and the Avs, we've touched on this. I mean, it's getting to be more and more clear that when they face each other in mid-March, that's going to be for the regular season.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Bart's, like, the last change at regionals and frozen finals, that could be huge.
Absolutely. I think you're talking about like important matchups, right? I mean, you have the Alex Harline on the Jersey 87s. Like, you want to be able to put your best guys out there against them. But I look to this week, right? You have two matchups today, technically, of when this podcast comes out, against the Philadelphia Little Flyers and New Jersey 87s, and then another one on Thursday. I would love to see PLF get one of those and get their first win over New Jersey this year. And then they'll play PHC again, and hopefully one of those will swing in their direction. But they have 2 wins against the Bears now. And I remember last year you asked the question, like, if you're New Jersey in terms of the 87s or Bears, what do you want? Do you want the 1 seed, or is it that big of a deal when they were with the 2 teams battling out? And I said I wanted to avoid Philly Hockey Club, and the Bears ended up losing to Philly Hockey Club. Now the question is, what situation does Philly Hockey Club, who do they want to avoid? But it looks like they'll probably, if they get the 1, they're going to get the most favorable matchup that they've had throughout the season so far with PLF.
For sure. And again, with all these teams, you just mentioned it with the 87s, like, we believe PHC, depth-wise, may have the best goaltending in that division, but all these teams are rotating their goalies consistently.
Yeah. I mean, Dallas Thompson's getting more of a workload than he got in the earlier part of the season, and he looked fantastic lately.
Yeah. Little Flyers have basically gone 1, 2, 3. The Bears have rotated their 3 guys. To circle back to Rhode Island, they've rotated their 3 guys.
Yeah.
If there's any team that's kind of leaned a little bit more on their starter lately, it's been the Avs, and obviously the Express too. We'll cover that in fantasy.
Yeah.
But this is, maybe it's just the commissioner in me, but like watching to see how our coaches, mix and match and manage their lineups down the stretch and into the playoffs, that's always been fascinating for me. Because again, like, that's their job. This is our job, and we get to kind of watch back and see how it works. And obviously, they're doing everything they can to put their team in the best position to succeed. And right now, in the EHL, you can label your favorites all you want on who should make regionals and who should make frozen finals. But these last 2 weeks are telling me, at least, that it doesn't matter if you're the favorite. You still have to show up
Absolutely
every single game, because anybody can beat anybody. So, and speaking of that, that was a not planned transition, but a good transition to the EHLP where you brought this up, Jake, so we have to address it. We have to cover it. I mean, the Avs were rolling.
Yeah.
Like rolling along. And we had said to the Seahawks that they had kind of gone through some sputtering a little bit, right? Then they go up. They play 2 games in Hooksett. They win both.
Yep.
That's a huge boost for them.
Yeah, I just want to say one point. Seahawks have only defeated the Avalanche in one non-showcase style game. All I'm going to say, interpret that with what you will. Shout out to Coach Borden for giving me that stat. But like it's interesting. It's an interesting stat. And obviously the Seahawks, statement day. Nothing can take away beating the New Hampshire Avalanche twice in their own barn. Nothing can take that away, regardless of how much time is on the clock. Seahawks probably still win both those games. I 100% believe that. But just much needed for them. Super cathartic for the Seahawks, who have, I think, really been feeling it even since before the break, right? They were able to get that last win over the Providence Capitals to go into the break with a little bit more confidence, but they came back and they still didn't look 100% like themselves. I just think that was a huge, huge day for them, just confidence-wise, to say, all right, like the last few matches have not gone our way, but we can still beat this team. And it may come down to us having to beat this team. So knowing that we could do it twice in a matter of 8 hours in the same building, like that is huge for them. And their Top Gunners did what they needed to do. It was the CeeLo show. It was Ian Live. It was Cameron Moore. It was Oren Friedman. Like it was those guys pulling the rope for the Seahawks.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you cited your source there. Very respectable of you. Because I'll also just say this: while that could be right, that could be factual. I'll counter with the obvious statement of when you hold Ryan Doobie off the score sheet, good things and good fortune can come your way as a team.
Absolutely.
And there's no shot at Ryan for the amazing season that he's having, but this is where when you're excelling at the level that he is, it creates a target on your back where teams are so dialed in, focused on you, that you have to hope that sometimes your secondary scoring can make up for it. But I'm sure the Seahawks that day went up there for those 2 games and said, if they beat us, they beat us, but it's not going to be because of Ryan Doobie.
Yeah, I mean, in the 4 wins they have over them this year, Ryan Doobie has 0 goals. In the 9-5 win that the Avalanche had over the Seahawks, Ryan Doobie had 5 goals. So even in that game, if you cross out every Ryan Doobie goal, Seahawks win 5-4. That's not how life works, but it's just an interesting thing to think about, is how much is that team that really we praise for its depth because of how much scoring they get outside Ryan Doobie, and they do get a ton, but when they're playing a team like the Seahawks, who have that top punch of their own, right? Like, I don't know, like the Express are a deep team, Providence is a really solid team, but they don't have the top punch that the Seahawks have. They can match Ryan Doobie. Carson Lowe can match Ryan Doobie on any given night, right? And that's what happened in Hooksett on that day. The previous day, the 9-5 win, it was all Ryan Doobie. These 2 games, it was the CeeLo line. Like, that was the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Obviously, the Avs still have an 8-point lead in the division, so they control their own destiny to lock up the 1 seed, but really it's the 1 and the 2 that are very important, because that helps you avoid that first round series, or I should say that play-in game. I got my timeline mixed up there, Jake. You got to stay out of 4-5. 4-5, you're putting yourself in a series just to get into the semis, and then after that, your 2-3 matchup. I mean, if it remains as is, Seahawks Express, I mean, someone may tell me to make a motion to make it a 7-game series, because that would be epic.
It would be so great.
I mean, it
would be so great. And
like, let's hold everything else on pause.
Speaking of predictions, who got a Nor'easter defeating Capitals? Who could have seen that coming except Bathtub over here? Yeah. I was like, Neil was like, what do you want for the P game of the week? I was like, Nor'easter is going to upset the Capitals. Do that one. Bang! Crystal ball, dude.
And your interviews have been doing very well.
Oh my
where you
goodness.
interview someone
Kyle
that knows
Hart
score.
buried 10 minutes after I interviewed him.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So to the south we go. And we've seen this in the past with the Bears, I should mention, where it feels like their game counts ahead of everybody else.
Yes, yeah. We did talk to Jackson Brasser about that,
and
he still feels good about it.
I don't mind that, though, because you look at this past weekend where the whole slate gets wiped out. Now, for everyone that's trying to catch up to them in game count, like, you got to cram those games in somewhere else.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And not that these players can't handle it by any means, right? But when you have 18 games left, if you're a Union, right? And we're basically in February now. Like, so there's a month and a half to get those 18 games in. That's going to be a very busy stretch down the stretch. And if they keep playing well to the way that they did that game of the week that you went to, right? That 1-0 win over the Bears, like, they can be the 1 seed when all is said and done.
Numbers wise, it looks like they can be. It's going to come down to it, I believe. But, if you just win percentage extrapolate, it's Union's division right now. But, oh, man, I've seen every team now in that division, having gone south so many times this year. I think the Bears are the best team in the division. I do. I think they play like the most structured, like cohesive hockey of any team in that division. And, I saw what happens when Damushan gets quieted in that game. And it was uncharted territory. I didn't like it. It was like, exploring the woods at night. It didn't feel right watching a game without watching Damushan create, but like, it is a different Bears team when that happens.
For sure. So, but since it's been 2 weeks, Jake, and a number of games have been completed beside the ones that got postponed, we need to give the public what they've been waiting all episode for, and that's an update on the eShow Fantasy Challenge.
Now it's time for the eShow Fantasy Challenge. Follow along on the EHL app.
So before we jump into fantasy here, Jake, since we mentioned my age and my height and whatnot so often on this podcast, going to give you a little parenting tip for when you have kids in the future. Identify the things that you can do to buy yourself 10 minutes.
Okay.
Cheese stick and A Bug's Life is on right now.
I use the same tactics when Mikey's bugging me when I'm trying to write stories for the website.
We go through like phases with movies. So right now it's A Bug's Life. We were kind of into Frozen recently, and I didn't know how to feel about
Never
that.
seen it, but I do love the song, the Let It Go song.
Yeah, I mean, it's catchy. It gets your attention.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So, speaking of Let It Go, Jake, for people that aren't your friend from home, which means everybody in fantasy but him, may have to just let it go.
I mean, it's funny. Like I enter in like a few of my friends every month. Another one's in 8th, which is pretty good. Another one's in 27th, which is like right after the Nordic block that we have for Delay's entire the Swedish village back home, I guess. But I'll always give them a list of players to choose from. That's what I do. So it's not like I don't just So Nick, my roommate from college, naturally picked someone with the same first name as him, and that worked out immensely well.
And obviously, we're making the Captain Obvious statement here that Nicky DeGeorge will be the forward of the month for January.
Yeah,
right.
I would say so.
But just from a fantasy perspective, right? 8 goals, 16 assists, 4 power play points, 2 shorthanded, 1 hat trick, and 2 game winners. Like, his 68 points is 10th
Yeah.
in all of fantasy.
Yeah.
Like him himself is top 10.
I know. I wish he had.
That's absurd.
He's a big 6'7" guy. I bet he wishes he had 67 points right now. But 68 is pretty good.
Oh my God.
I mean, but you look at it like good goalie choice too. 45 points is wild from a goaltender.
Yeah, and obviously I think we covered this just recently in this podcast, how guys have been rotating in the Express not being one of those teams, right? They're kind of doing what they did with Alex Koenig and Jack Boston, and you insert name, stud all-star Express goaltender. Lucas Toth is this year's version, and somebody else will be next year's version.
It's honestly like it begs the question: is it even worth picking another goalie in fantasy?
What, he has 200 saves this month.
Just like no one like they're a winning team. He gets the most minutes and he makes a good amount of saves every game. Like he had 43 or 43 against the New Jersey Bears. Bananas.
He has 80 more saves than the next closest goaltender, and that's Connor Nicholson, who probably is the next comparable netminder to what Toth gets in terms of minutes.
But they're not winning right now.
But he has 4 wins and a shutout to go with it. Like, and he only has 13 goals against throughout this month. I mean, your college roommate, Jake, probably has the forward of the month and the goalie of the month on his roster. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Definitely had the roommate of the month every year that we were in college together for sure as well.
I mean, if you're talking just fantasy too, I mean, if he had picked Troy Mulholland, I mean, it would have been like potentially the perfect one.
Yeah, true. Oh my God.
Does he like the name? Does he like the name Angelo as well?
Angelo Masulo is a I don't know, badass. I don't know if I can say a badass name. It's a great name.
Yeah,
it's a great name.
I've heard that on 98.5. So that seems like a word that you can use.
There we go.
It's just it makes like a Braden Galante's 33 points, Gage Winters 28, Ben Carfor's 21, obviously another 18 from Ville Bowden. Like it makes all those players look like they're not having good months when they are having good months. It's just the pace that Nicky DeGeorge is at, the pace that Lucas Toth is at. I mean, you mentioned Mitch Stanger earlier. He has 18.2 points.
That's good.
Aiden Doobie, 22.4. Declan McNamara, 25.8. But when your forward has 68 and your goaltender has 45, nobody else is going to win. Like, it's going to take someone to absolutely explode this week to catch that. And, like, I feel good, Jake, about my third place 91 right now, but, like, I'm 32 points behind him.
It's unbelievable. This kid's probably watched, like, 20 minutes of EHL hockey, all from Instagram videos that I send.
Well, then you better get him prepared because he's going to have to pick the playoffs.
I know. I'm excited about that. It's like the closest I've come to ever winning a month. Wait, where am I, by the way?
Counts,
oh my God, I'm in 51st. I guess Sorella didn't want to send me the memo that it was the month of the Hussar, I guess.
I mean, what's funny is your D and goalie who are having good years. I mean, Ian Arnott leads the league in shutouts, right? He's got 4. And we've seen what Hunter Lee can do. Their total basically equals one of the 8 goals that Nicky DeGeorge has scored.
Gage Winter's doing great. Can't complain about Gage.
Yes. Oh, man. So, yeah, it's not over yet this month, but it's pretty much over. By the time we record next week, which is February 2nd, it just feels crazy.
Yeah.
We're into February. You know my birthday's in February, Jake?
February 25th.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
How old am I turning?
35.
Wow, he's 2 in a row right
Dude,
there.
always remember somebody's name, always remember somebody's birthday. It's, tenets of being a good guy.
Fair enough. And we want you guys all to remember this week's Games of the Week. We'll jump to them now in What to Watch For.
And now here's what to watch for in the EHL and the EHLP.
So we'll go in order of the dates for each one. We got a game for you guys to watch on Wednesday and a game to watch on Saturday. On Wednesday, does this count as JB goes south? Or does it mean or do you just go like a little bit west?
Well, I mean, it's a good bit down. Like it's a good drive. But no,
Fair.
South, you gotta be in a South Division team's barn. So this is JB goes Central.
To be in the South, you got to be on the verge of having a goalie fight too. Which, by the way, I'll address it. It did give me a little bit of a charge. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of was like, I get it.
Yeah, it was cool.
I'm okay with this. I didn't love it at first. And I gotta give a shout out to Marty Pierce. I mean, when you challenge someone that has 40 plus pounds on you and the inches in height that Rossi had.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like 2-1. It wasn't too one-sided either.
No, Rossi won.
Rossi
the fight
won,
probably,
but yeah, of course he won. Like my dog's not going to be your dog, but like they put it was
true,
like
true.
It wasn't as like bad as I thought it could have been.
Yeah. So we didn't choose this week's EHL game based off maybe a potential goalie fight because I don't think anyone knew that was coming that night. Like, wasn't on our bingo card, I guess you could say. But the EHL game of the week on Wednesday, Applecore versus the Bears, 12:30 p.m. Obviously, we touched on the Applecore, a few close games lately, especially with the South Division. I'm sure would love to pick up a victory like this against the Bears. It's actually part of a home and home series with the back end of it Friday. I love how there's a day in between, too. I don't know why that scheduling kind of quirk gets me excited, but I like how it's a home and home and Thursdays off. I just like that. So,
do you know who I get to see on Wednesday?
You get to see
Nicholas Molly, baby. I'm so excited about that. We're gonna get chirped about it though.
Yeah, I mean the Bears players keep calling you out for having like a favorite, and you're not even hiding.
I've never been one to hide anything. I'm a heart on my sleeve, like whatever happens kind of guy. So yeah, no, it was funny because in the lobby after the first game that they lost to the Express, he was sitting with me. We were chatting after the game. His teammates come out. And he was like, "We knew where to find you. We knew it was going to be next to him," pointing to me. And then Mally comes in and watches the interview with James Georges and Xander St. Pierre. And then I sit next to Mally on the bench where he was watching it. And then George was like, "All right, of course we'll leave you two alone." It's like he's feeding into it just as bad as I am.
Yeah, and you can take a picture together on Wednesday if you want. There you go. But following that game of the week in the EHL, for the EHLP, the first of what's a 2-game series between the Seals and Nor'easter. Jake just mentioned last week we had Nor'easter in the game of the week as well, and he predicted that victory over Providence. But for the Seals, we haven't seen them come this far north since the showcase, so you'll get to see them again, Jake, and their battle that they have right now in the Mid-Atlantic, really to try and earn one of the first or second seeds. Because they have 6 teams in that division, 1 and 2 get a bye. Just keep that in mind. Very important to keep that in mind down the stretch here as everyone catches up to the Bears in game count. And really between the Seals, Union, and Bears, and I don't want to count 87s yet, but 2 of those 3 teams will get a bye, and 1 of them won't. So these series for teams like Atlantic City are huge.
Yeah. And I think they're also just excited to get out of that division. They did play each other early on, if I remember. That was the night we interviewed the Seals. We saw those jerseys for the first time, and they beat them in overtime, if I remember correctly. The Seals won.
Yes.
So it should be another tight game.
So we got those 2 games of the week this week. Hopefully, this snowstorm can clear the way now. Because when you have to cancel the entire day, postpone the entire day, Jake, I mean, that's a little bit unprecedented. Usually there's areas of the footprint, pockets of the footprint where the snow is not hitting as hard. But when multiple states declare a state of emergency, Planet Fitness can't open up. So we got to shut down.
It better be open at 4. The sign said tentatively. I'm going to be pissed if not. I'm on a tight schedule.
So are you a call first and then
I'm
show
gonna
up? Or you just
I'm gonna have
show
to
back
call,
up?
yeah, because it's just not worth it. Like it's free, it's cold outside. I don't want to have to get like all wet if I don't have to. There's nothing at the end of the tunnel here.
Fair enough. Well, that will do it for this week's episode. We don't have another break like this until later on into February. So if you can make it out to catch any of these games in person, that'd be great. Obviously, the action's been great in both the EHL and the EHLP. But if you can't watch them in person, you can always tune in on Flow Hockey. We'll talk to you guys all next week.
Do you want the house tour?
Thanks for listening to The E-Show, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Learn more about us at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when our next podcast episode is released.